Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Machine evidence, and now yesterday, if you don't see it in the news, they did one article out there from Law and Crime. Dominion dropped the lawsuit against Mike Lindell and MyPillow. That was yesterday. So, and I just want everybody to know it doesn't mean anything that I'm going to stop fighting these voting machine companies to. It was a nice gesture, but we are going to go. We're all in to get them, get rid of them, get to paper ballots hand counted. And here I'm going to announce right now, it should be within the next half hour. We're going to be posting on Lindell TV, everybody. It's 800-page historical drop of the voting machine evidence. This has never been seen before. A lot of it we have bits and pieces were out there. This has been compiled over the last 5 years. This will be right here on Lindell TV. It'll be posted, like I say, in about 20 minutes. We're doing a press release on it, and anyone that ever tells you then, Vanessa, that ever says, oh, there's no evidence, this is like a library. It's a historical library with 500 and some, articles and 100% evidence that back each thing up. This was actually part of this given to the president when he was told by when he walked off that's reporter a few weeks ago, and he re-truthed it. So it's a very exciting day. We're going to tie in, all these stuff.
You heard it here. You've heard it there. Mike Lindell's $1.3 billion defamation lawsuit was dropped. Well, let's talk about the obvious one. Mike Lindell's a good mouthpiece for keeping the dream of getting rid of machines that steal elections across the country alive. But he doesn't have any institutional knowledge. So he collects all this information, but nobody drops a $1.3 billion lawsuit if they had even an inkling that they would be successful. You don't drop it. I need to say, well, they sold the company. Like if you have a $1.3 billion lawsuit and a $1.2 billion lawsuit against Patriot, and you got this lawsuit and that lawsuit, if you're a legitimate company, you don't just drop it. You're going to get something. You may get $1 million, you may get $2 million, you may get something. I mean, you're not talking about Fox News that colluded with Dominion to transfer money from one pocket to the other. You don't just drop a $1.3 billion lawsuit. You don't just drop it. But the lawfare and the fact that we are in a judicial coup plays a part in this. And after 6 years, I'm sick of the stupid. For 3 years, I spent my time walking with Mike Lindell, saving him from himself. And I'm very happy for Mike Lindell. I'm happy that the lawsuit got dropped. But nobody's saying the quiet part out loud. Why'd they drop the lawsuit? Why are they in such a hurry to drop all the lawsuits? If you had something, stay in it. I mean, and here's something else that I want to connect to this. I think it's really important. We have Tina Peters is going to be in the studio with us today. What is the price of freedom? What is the price of the sacrifices that are being put forth over and over and over again? I've lost my appetite for stupid. I've lost my appetite. I now can see that elections are stolen at the state level when it comes to the chair races. They use proxies and they make sure that they have it all figured out in these little groups. Neither side is immune from the idea of stealing elections and putting their guy in that position at all cost. And the American people are the ones that pay for it. because the grift is ridiculous. I was counting up some things related to what I did, counting the cost. What is the cost over the last 6 years? And I've had the left and the right attack me. Oh, Joe's violent. He calls for violence because I want people to follow the Constitution. If you commit treason, I want you to hang until you're dead. Why? Because it's not a victimless crime. Because I actually care about what they've done to people. But I look at the cost. I look at the millions of dollars over the last 6 years that I've lost. And some of you that watch me do not understand the significance of giving up 2 hours of my day every day to be on this show and to have to move things around because Rumble's dead, guys. It's dead. It's a dead platform. If you're on Rumble right now, we've got some announcements, some things that happened. iHeart laid off some talent across the country. But let's be honest. Rumble's got like 3 or 4 things that they put up. Everything else it's all fake and gay. But if you look at the cost, if you look at the amount of money that it costs me to do this and step away from my company and really be self-gratifying. If I wanted to be self-gratifying, I certainly wouldn't have flown all over the country every year. People like Tina Peters would not find themselves in jail. Excuse me, prison. Let's not call it jail. It's prison. While 6 years later, we're still talking about the machines. We're still talking about mail-in ballots. We still have the media say that there's no proof. And the American people, we've lost our patience. I sat down with a friend of mine earlier today. We were sitting in a meeting, and he said, Joe, when do we get to the part where we just said we had enough? The answer is no. And I think we're there. But what is the cost? What is counting the cost? SCIF put up this stuff. It's been on fire, putting out posts about the 2020 election. And let's also stop this thing that it's the 2020 election. Let's stop. Let's stop it. They stole the election from Donald Trump. No shit, Sherlock. Of course they did. And they had to take the Trump card off the table. They had to take those chess pieces off the table. So they had to go another 4 years. So they had to make sure that they had enough people that they own that were Republicans that were going to stand against the ability to pass the SAVE Act and to make sure we have not even truly, but honest elections. They walk around, they tell us that they're telling the truth. They're telling the truth about COVID, telling the truth about the vaccines, telling the truth about why we went to Iraq, telling the truth about, they can't even tell the truth about the assassination of President Kennedy 70 years ago, 60 years ago. They can't even tell the truth about that. Oh, we're going to declassify it. No, we're not. You can't even get the creeps that actually rape children. Instead, you got to create a narrative where President Trump gets ostracized and defamed because he looks at the Epstein files and he thinks to himself, these people are sick. But some of the people that are in the files are the same people that he has to deal with on a daily basis. And keep in mind that our entire Congress is filled with people that, frankly, there's, what do they say, 800, 900 different allegations of sexual assault that congressmen committed against women or men. I guess it could happen on both sides. It's just not real. And I look at the last 6 years and I go, yeah, I'm ready to fight. Because I don't want to live in a world, I don't want to live in a country where we have to debate the ridiculous, where my friend Tina Peters has to go sit in prison, paying for what should never have happened. It's not my story to tell, it's her story to tell. But there's a cost for her standing up, and it's a huge cost. It wasn't just the 20 months that she spent in prison. It was the 3 years before that she had to fight for what was true. And yet they were able to bury that too. And the people that made out were the attorneys and the judges and what can only be described as a judicial coup. But the SCIF has been pushing this stuff out for the 2020 and Dominion's involvement. Super important. Here's one. Here's a post. Here's the findings, significant findings in the new 799-page Dominion documents in the stolen 2020 election. Ballots exceed voters in 3 decisive states in the 2020 election. Michigan, 499,850 more ballots than voters. Margin, 154,188. Pennsylvania, 155,053 more ballots than voters. Margin, 80,555. Georgia, Fulton County alone, 22,534 more ballots than voters. Margin, 11,779. Each discrepancy independently exceeds the state's margin of victory. The Public Interest Legal Foundation documented that Pennsylvania distributed approximately 3.1 million mail ballots in 2020, and that 440,781 of those ballots were classified unknown, meaning election officials had no record of what happened to them, whether they were returned, not returned, counted, or discarded. Pennsylvania's certified presidential margin of victory was 81,660 votes. The number of mail-in ballots whose chain of custody could not be constructed exceeded the certified margin by more than 5-1. In Delaware County specifically, officials destroyed election night paper types, ordered the Blue Crest ballot sorter wiped of all November 3, 2020 election or data immediately before open record production, and failed to produce required return sheets for more than half the county's precincts. The digital records, logs, images, cryptographic hashes were wiped. Antrim County Election Management System had all 2020 adjudication logs manually removed, while prior year logs remained intact. 68.05% tabulation log error rate that triggered mass adjudication cannot be audited because there's no record of who adjudicated what. Maricopa County's EMS database and Windows security logs were deleted or overwritten. 284,412 ballot images were found corrupt or missing. In Mesa County, Colorado, a state-supervised Dominion Trust to Build deleted 28,989 files from the EMS records, including at least 695 logs and event log files required by federal and state law to be retained for 22 months. In Fulton County, Georgia, SHA authentication files for 132,286 of 148,318 absentee ballot images were intentionally removed. 17,852 ballot images were missing from the official recount. And county admitted in federal court it did not preserve the majority of in-person ballot images for the November 3rd original count. These findings described not isolated mismanagement, but a layered collapse of electronic record integrity in precisely the jurisdictions that decide national power. Inflated rolls create capacity for fraudulent ballots, broken poll books and voter history servers that vote to ballot link, ballot custody gaps, and mass adjudication obscure what ballots are real and how they were interpreted. Manipulated or opaque tallied systems convert these ballots to unprovable totals, and targeted destruction of logs and images eliminate the forensic trail that could expose or disprove manipulation. From a national security perspective, this means U.S. election infrastructure, formerly designed as critical infrastructure, is currently a high-value, low-risk target for foreign intelligence services and aligned domestic networks, and that the United States lacks both the evidentiary resilience and the deterred posture expected of a system that allocates sovereign authority. Fictitious ballots and ineligible registrants were injected at scale. 6,691 fictitious ballot identified at least one state. Thousands of ineligible registrants entered via a 1/1900 placeholder date of birth. Private NGOs obtained real-time API access to statewide voter files without public contracting or security vetting. Systematic destruction of ballot images and cryptographic authentication files. 315,000 advanced vote. Man, I'm going to read the whole thing, guys, just so you all understand. This is just that happened in 2020, and they passed laws that stopped us from getting access to this information in 2022, 2024, and now 2026. 315,000 advanced vote ballot images destroyed in one state. 132,286 SHA cryptographic authentication files intentionally deleted in one county, permanently eliminating ballot image integrity verification. Machine tally tapes physically destroyed before records requests with a sworn admission they wouldn't match the election results. Targeted deletion of all 2020 adjudication files prior years intact. Every adjudication log from 2020 was absent in one county, while prior year's logs for the identical system remained intact. Consistent only when targeted deletions. 37,000 database queries were run against one county's election management system following a legislative subpoena. Vendor-directed log, destructive and selective. Persecutions of the whistleblower. Trust to build update proved that state officials deleted tens of thousands of legally mandated log files across multiple jurisdictions. The officials who preserved forensic images was criminally prosecuted. No official who ordered destruction of any jurisdiction has been charged. This is not just a slice in the fraction of how the 2020 election was stolen. Facts, examples, figures, etc. There's so much more, but one thing is for sure. The 2020 election was stolen. Now, here's what I will say. It's not the 2020 election that was stolen. It's the 2018 election, 2016, 2014, 2012, 2010, 2008, 2006, 2004. Go back to Clint Curtis in 2004. In November 2004, he testified before Congress that he was asked by Congressman Feely out of Florida to create a system that would allow him to steal elections at will. They used it, they built it, they brought in outside foreign interferers, and they brought people who were aligned politically with those people inside a Dominion voting system, Smartmatic, ES&S, Clear Ballot, all the way down, same substructure that was designed to steal the voice of the American people. It's not stealing elections. It's stealing tax dollars. It's stealing the sovereignty of our nation, and it's taking away our constitutional rights and putting something in place that says, listen, you can take whatever you want, whenever you want, and by the way, kabuki theater ensues. That's where we're at right now. But hey, what do I know? I don't know much. I know that the person that frankly has spent the better part of the last 2 years in prison is here with us right now.
Hey.
It is good to see you. And I'm hot. I'm hot. I'm hot. I'm hot. And I'm resolved to the fact that Tina she didn't deserve any of it. And the worst part about it was not the left. It was not the left's response. The worst part about it was the betrayal. I'm losing my volume here, guys. The worst part about it was our side. The worst part about it is people that said that they were Republicans, or people say that they're here to fight. They're here for election fraud. They're here for election integrity. Joe, hey, I don't know how many times that I would have a conversation with Tina, and I'm like, listen, it's coming. They're going to get you out. It's coming. We're going to get you out. 2 more weeks. Tina just said 2 more weeks. It was always 2 more weeks, and it kept me alive for so long. Kept Tina in a perpetual place of hope, and despair, hope and despair, hope and despair, which we're going to talk about today. But Tina's out now. By the grace of God, Tina's out now. Jared Polis, I can not like him in so many different ways, but I can honor the fact that he did the right thing. The right thing would have been a pardon. But she already got a presidential pardon. So I'm not sure that Tina, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for hanging in there with me through all of this, you know, for supporting me both physically, financially, in every way, keeping the story going. That's one of the things that when you go to prison, you just think, and just like when my son died as a Navy SEAL, that was one of the things for a mom. You never want your son to be forgotten. And when they put me away like that, you guys didn't forget me, and I appreciate that very much.
You know, there's
Hi,
never
everybody.
yes, there's never a time where sharing is caring, by the way, guys, just so you know. There's never a time that I would have a conversation with you where I didn't feel like I knew partially I was probably lying to you. 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks. And every time I would talk to someone and they're like, Joe, we got it handled now. It's just going to need 2 more weeks. And I'm like, you told me that 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Or there'll be indictments. And or they're going to get you out, and that you have a presidential pardon, and And then you heard the stories of it's not, it's a state charge. You can't pardon a state charge. But the reality of it is, you go back in history, you can.
Yes.
They just made up that narrative too. And so, but if I'm being honest, every time that I was told 2 weeks, and you're like, what do you think now? And I was like, I think I think the most disheartening part of you being in jail,
In
prison. I just did that.
I lost my ear. It's okay.
Is that it didn't need to be.
Didn't need to be. No, it was obviously done for political reasons. It was done to make everyone afraid right before the presidential election of speaking out and redressing your government. It violated so many constitutional rights of the people that it was beyond egregious. And that's the problem, is that they keep doing this stuff. I'm in prison, Joe, and I'm looking at Mandami. I did get Fox News, which, that was the only thing I had. So, and I said, yeah, no doubt he's going to win. I looked at Spamberger, and I said,
a CIA agent.
She's going to win by 51 points. You watch. I think it was 51 or 52.
50.85.
There you go. 51 points. I said, I predicted. It's not that I have a crystal ball. I know how these machines work. I know how the mechanism and the mechanics work involved. So, I'm sitting in prison, and I was in jail. I was in jail in the Mesa County jail, then the Larimer jail, and then transferred to prison. But I'm in there and I'm frustrated. I'm like a horse in a starting gate going, let me out, let me out. I've got to do something. So we, to keep my voice from being silenced, my great producer and actually he did my show, and, and you've aired a lot of those, is that they developed an AI model. So I was supposed to be out and supposed to take an award, a Heroes Award, the Whittemore Award with Andrew Womack and the Faith and Liberty Coalition, and everybody thought I would be out long before that, and it didn't look like I was getting out. The 2 more weeks didn't turn into 2 more weeks again. And so, let me just say something about AI in favor of it. We have got to get ahead. We've got to get ahead of China. So anybody that's afraid of AI doesn't understand AI and the war ahead of us. But, so Apollo did this amazing, he took like 14 or 1,500 voice recordings of me and made my voice. And people at the conference couldn't believe that she wants some water. Couldn't believe that it wasn't me. So the point of it is I refused to let my voice be silenced, because then they get the idea that, by throwing people in prison, then they can't speak out, and that had to fail. That had to fail. They could not control my voice. I want to talk a little bit, when you're ready, about what the lamestream media has put out about the false narrative that I'm not remorseful and I didn't deserve a commutation. So
I think that's important, because you've always maintained your innocence. And if one thing led to the other, I've been very critical of the people that were involved in this, because I think they could have done it differently to make it impossible for them to come after you without going through the election.
Right.
But you have said, and you have said that, look, I would have done things differently, and I'd had to do it all over again. But I think what they want from you is a pound of flesh that somehow the elections are not fraudulent.
They want me to admit that that I broke the law, that I deserved to be in prison, that I was a felon. They want me to admit, and I have made it a point throughout this whole time that I will always tell the truth. That I will that's why my show is called The Truth Matters, is because, and I can't go against my ethos that compels me to always tell the truth. And so when when Jared Polis and when they were working that up, he's the one that don't pick with that. That's a bite.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
So
thought it was something that was stuck in
no, it's a bite.
It's okay.
So
Sorry.
Sorry, everybody.
I'm petting the puppy while we're talking.
We had a So he was the one that wanted me to say that I could have done things differently, that I would be involved in prison reform and elections. And I said, I can do that. I can do that. I honestly, and here's where this, and I'm not going to go into talking about my case because that's what attorneys are for. And there's really nothing I can say about it except for we are in the Colorado Supreme Court. We're waiting to hear an answer from them. And here's my take on that, being in the Colorado Supreme Court. We gave the judicial system in Mesa County the chance to do the right thing, the chance to let me present a defense. We gave them that chance, and they failed. They denied 41 motions. They would not let me present a defense that I was preserving election records. Would not let the jury hear all that. And you guys out there, all this. They blocked the information from being heard by a jury, and then they said, "Oh, well, she was prosecuted by a Republican DA, and so on and so forth, and by a jury of their peers." Well, they weren't allowed to hear the truth. So then we went to the appeals court. The appeals court and everyone else, even Jared Polis, of course, recognized that 9 years is a long time. I mean, I was in with the worst of the worst women. And
they do not have a minimum security prison in the state of Colorado.
No, they don't. And as a matter of fact, the people that were in La Vista with me, violent criminals were, and this is another thing, when I address prison reform and things like that, they were put in there on an override. You know why? Because the prisons are so crowded, they have nowhere to put them. So there's so many violent criminals that there was no place to put me. But you think that I would have been in the honor house or the incentive unit, being a minimum security? No, because they had corruption inside the prison that were going after me on a day-to-day basis. So they had corruption in the prison where they were targeting me.
They had to get you out. I mean, I almost feel like they had to get you out of the prison because you're like, there's mold in the air conditioning systems, and there's lead in the walls, and they're treating these women terribly.
That's
you
right.
became everywhere you turned, you were seeing another crime or another misgiving that was being done.
Yes.
By people that are victimizing these women.
Yes. And that's why they moved me. So I was in Mesa County for 2 months. I was still doing my show back then. And
I know, it's great.
And so I was still doing my show, and they couldn't wait to get rid of me. So they put me on a courtesy hold in Larimer County. I was still doing my show. She can go out. Jared can take her out if you want.
Jared, come get her.
So they couldn't wait to get me to Larimer County because I was outing all the egregious behavior they were doing in Mesa County. So then I get to Larimer County and I'm still doing my show.
And it's worse.
Right. Right. And so then they add on another 60 days onto there's so many illegal things that they did to me, another 60 days. And I told the girls, and some of the girls had not been, everybody, once you've been in jail for a while, you want to be transferred to prison.
Right.
Because there you have a few extra little bennies, like you have makeup and you have.
And the food's a little better.
A little better. Yeah,
It's still
more like a
terrible.
toddler meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, tater tots, and yeah, we can talk about that for a
Lunchables. It's like
whole
Lunchables.
time, whole time, whole hour or more. So all the girls want to go to prison that have been in jail for a while, but they don't. There's no room. There's no room in the prisons to send them. So the jails are actually suing the prison and the prison's having to pay them to keep them in jail. And I said, you watch. I said, as soon as my time comes up, I'll be on the next transport out. Sure enough, I was with a girl that I knew from in there that had been in there waiting 14 months. The day my day came to leave Larimer, boy, they had me right on transport. And so in La Vista, there was not immediately they started just writing me up for just doing things, harassing me, and but there was no way they didn't have the tablets to do the show, so that's why I depended on my team, you and Jared and Paulo and all those and Marcy to get the word out, and then all the people out there that have kept the story alive.
The story's not over.
No, not by a long
Story's
shot.
not over, and So let's talk about the cost of freedom. And I'm not sure people understand the cost.
Right.
I remember the day that you went in, like it was yesterday. It's probably yesterday for you too.
Yeah.
But it set in at that moment that you had to rely on people on the outside to get you out. And we knew we had the proof. You had 4 reports, you had the answer report, you had Maricopa, we have so much evidence of election fraud. Days ticked. Cost of freedom became more, it just kept adding up.
Right.
And then when you finally did get out, it's almost as if time stood still.
While I was in there, I'm just praying every day. I was very grateful at La Vista, at least we could be outside, whereas they call it D-Dub. It's the Denver Women's Prison. We weren't. D-Dub. Yeah. I had the grapes and a lot of things. I've got a whole lingo of prison talk. But it was interesting because I would walk by myself. I was attacked. I know all that, and you've probably talked about that. I was attacked. I ended up winning over the women at the prison. I ended up getting rid of the warden, who was very impotent. He didn't do anything. Ended up getting rid of the evil. She in her office, she had statues of Baphomet. She was a Satan worshiper, and she had a heavy hand, and she hated me. I ended up getting rid of her. Got her moved at the very end. All this happened at the very end. Ended up after that getting moved into where I should have been the whole time, was a incentive unit, and that sort of thing. And then I was able to see the J6 people that came. I happened to be in the building when they came. Do you know about that? About the J6 people standing outside for 72 hours round the clock. And I told the people, and they said, "Oh, I hope we don't get locked down." And I said, "No, they can't lock us down. They're on private property. They can't lock us down." I was always advocating for the women because they were in such fear because they didn't know their rights. And so I remember the first night they were there. I have so many prison stories. But the first night they were there, or first day they were there, they came at 6, and all the officers were freaking out. All the COs, they're called correctional officers, were freaking out. Get away from the windows! Get away from the windows! And they were just freaking out.
What do you think they're going to do? Like shoot into the walls or what?
Yeah, I know. And so I would go by the window and I'd give a big heart, just a heart thing. And so they ended up
Tina breaking you're breaking the rules that aren't even the rules for the rules.
Some of you couldn't. So there, you want to hear some prison stories?
Yes, of course.
There were some.
Hit the west side, baby. Come on, let's go.
There were some. the squirrels there were tame. They had a whole like environment of squirrels that were tame. So we would feed them, we'd give them peanuts. Some of the girls gave them fireballs and they would go and they would hide them and lick them for a while, then go hide them and go back and get them. I always fed them nuts and stuff. Once they realized the COs realized that we were having some human
Joy.
interaction, some joy, then they made it the same charge as an assault in prison if they caught us feeding the squirrels. They did that with picking the flowers. If you picked a flower, you could be charged with a class 1 COPD. There were the abuse in there, and the lack of transparency inside the prisons. And I could talk about the drugs in there, how they get the inmates hooked on drugs, and then they
get them hooked on drugs to send them back out.
They do.
In order to bring them right back in.
They actually increase the dosage before they're let out. And it's all a federal government program. So I want to stop that. It's not helping the women. It's not helping the men. It's causing, they would secrete or secret the drug in their mouth. And then they would go back to their cell, to their unit, and then spit it in a cup and dry it out, use a hairdryer or whatever, dry it out, chop it up, and sell it for people to snort. I mean, people would get herpes in the eye, just the stuff that happened because they're paying them 50 cents an hour. And if they do have a job, there aren't enough jobs. They're forced to work. There is an Amendment A that was passed by the voters. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
It was passed by the voters that said you cannot force an inmate to work. That was in 2018. They've been out of compliance, Colorado DOC, since 2018, forcing women to work, forcing people to work, men and women, and then punishing them if they don't. So some men, some people in the men's prison did a class action lawsuit, which included all of us. And the judge, bless her heart, the judge actually ruled that CDOC had been in violation since, and I have to be careful because I'm still under CDOC. I'm still on parole, and I'm not trying to invite more attacks against me. I'm just
the fact that you have to say that
pointing out the fact. Yes,
is pretty.
Well, I'm just pointing out the truth. The truth is that in eight years they have been out of compliance. And this is public. You can look at the ruling by the judge, July 13th of this year. And these women, because they don't have money, even their toiletries, their shampoo, their soap and such is not provided. So they have to buy it out of their own pocket. Well, when you make $13, $14 a month state pay, you can't even afford that. So they have to figure out a hustle that they can do. It forces them to break rules. I went in there I went as a business owner for 32 years, why I ran for clerk and so on and so forth. As a business owner, going in there and seeing how things were managed just blew my mind. I said, why are we paying money for food when we have, I don't know how many acres on that campus, but all this beautiful grass and beautiful flowers and all this stuff. Why isn't this farm? Why aren't you teaching the women to cultivate, to can, to prepare things, to be self-sufficient?
And it wouldn't have cost you.
No.
I mean, this is the worst part about the entire thing is that you have a group of people that are waiting, they're biding their time to get out, to have to then be told to restart their engines in society in order to become productive. But while they're in there, they're not given any opportunity to be productive and have any sort of self. The system is designed to turn them into slaves to come back into the same system.
Here's another thing is that they're given money for programs. So we're supposed to have teachers. And shout out to all, shout out to all my friends in La Vista. I told you I would not forget you. So, I'm their voice. because they have no voice. But they are the things that there's programs that are supposed to educate them. I finally, after over a year, got into a carpentry program. But there are no.
Put up the comments, by the way, on the right side screen, please.
There are, and you'll have to read that to me because I can't see. I lost my vision while I was in prison because of all the crazy neon light or fluorescent lights. So so some of their parole, when they would go to parole and they would be denied, it's because you haven't done any programs. Well, you couldn't do any programs because, first of all, they were getting money for programs, but they were taking the teachers. So instead of 5 days a week to do your program, if there was a program, they would take the teachers and put them in positions of COs, correctional officers. So they didn't have to spend that money hiring correctional officers because they say they have no money. Well, there were 29,000, or there were, I think it was 29,000, about $29 million that was stolen, embezzled. I put out who I believe did it. So here you have a program that's going to take you, instead of 4 months, it's going to take you a year to complete. So then the person that's waiting to take that program when the 12 people that are in it are finished are pushed out another year, and then they're denied parole because they haven't. Same with the GED program. A lot of people couldn't get out if they didn't have their GED, which is a great thing in theory, that when you're in prison, you need to do your GED, right? And then that gives you an up. Couldn't do the GED for the same reason. Their teachers were always acting as COs, and they didn't want to be acting as COs. So the people were sitting there doing nothing. And when you do nothing as a prisoner, as a felon, when you're doing nothing, it's idle time is the devil's workshop. So there's a lot of things that need to change in there.
You could create, without spending a whole lot more money, you could create an environment inside the prison where you could give people joy.
You know that.
But they hire COs. And this is not just in the women's prison, the men's prison. I'm more familiar with the men's prison.
Of course. Have you been there? No. I'm just kidding.
I tried to come visit you, but that's a different conversation we need to have. Because they hated me.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so much. They hated me.
Yeah.
They still hate me.
Yeah.
But in the prisons, there's so much. It wouldn't cost you anything more, but the COs are people that they'll have signs outside the prison that says, get a job here for $20 an hour, and no high school diploma necessary. So some of the people that you have in these prisons they belong in prison. Sorry, but you know what I mean? They're just not. They enjoy the misery of other people.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, they've been bullied in high school or whatever the reason for.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the questions that you have?
Who's? I haven't seen any yet. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put it up. We were going to have so that you could have a conversation with people where I have people come talk to you on the deal, but we have time. We have time for that now.
Yeah.
Who's the person inside the prison, one of your that was in the prison with you, that you can't stop thinking about? The person that was your biggest advocate, the person that who that they probably shared a bit of their life with you, that you take with you and think, man, this is.
So there's so many, but there's and there was one that just that makes me laugh. MJ, little black girl, kind of a large black girl, but she decided she was my self-appointed bodyguard.
All right.
So MJ would not, she would go with me to chow. She'd go with me everywhere. She would just, wherever she would. And then they put her in another unit and stuff like that. Well, this evil Captain Cordova that ran the prison. So one day, MJ, every time she'd see me, if we'd be out in the yard and walk, I'd be walking one way or her another, and we'd, cross paths across the yard, and she'd go, "Hey, Grandma." She called me Grandma. "Hey, Grandma, I love you." And she said, "I love you." And then she'd say, "Free Tina Peters, Free Tina Peters. She'd yell, free Tina Peters. Well, one day Captain Cordova heard her saying this, and she disconnected her iPad. It's not an iPad. It's like a tablet. It's very limited. We're not on the internet. We don't have any of that. She disconnected it, wouldn't let her have it, put her in the hole. When MJ asked why, she said, because you can't say free Tina Peters here. So, but it didn't stop MJ. She was like, it didn't stop her at all. She kept going. There were other women. I had really good roommates. I stopped counting how many roommates I had after like 150 from between county jails and then because I got moved so much. But I always had really good roommates, except for there was one, and then she grew to like me later. We actually were chest to chest. She was going to beat me up, and because she thought I had told the COs that she was doing Suboxone in our room, in our cell, which I hadn't. So there, it's an interesting place. One of the things they kept saying, are you going to forget us when you get out of here? No, I'm not going to forget you. I had my attorneys bring in the ARs, the administrative regulations, because the women didn't know they couldn't be thrown in the hole for 2 or 3 months, which by regulation, it can only be up to 15 days. So I educated them on that. I had 2 thick books of ARs that when I left, I handed them over to another woman, because what I wanted to instill in them is you do have power. You do have, even though they've taken all your control, you still have rights.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't just treat you like this, but you need to know your rights, and then you need to teach other people. So, and that's what happened in the men's prison when they did that lawsuit and won, because they would always say, well, the men would do this because the women won't stick together. Well, you need to take a different mindset. A lot of these women were victimized. A lot of them shot their spouse or shot their boyfriend or somebody else or killed them because they were in an abusive relationship. Things like that too.
So you're in with people that some are serving life sentences.
Right.
And
I have a good story with that.
I do want to hear it.
I have a good story with that. Francine, I liked her right away. She was in the dog program and we just connected. She was in there for life. She kept fighting, never gave up, just kept, appealing and doing all the things she needed to do. She got it reduced to 64 years. More time went by. She got it reduced to 32 years. She just got out on the 19th. She got it reduced all the way down. And amazing human being, such a good person, that was caught up in the politics of the system.
And what did she do? What was her?
It's interesting because I won't really put out what everybody did. I mean, I will now attaching her name with it, but I never asked the women what they did because I wanted to experience them
outside
with my relationship with them, how, so I never even asked what they did. Usually other people would tell me what they did.
Was that the code? Was that a code inside the prison?
you don't ask people what they do, but what they did, but other people would go on and they would find out, what people did. Chomos were the worst, child molesters, of course, child murderers. They were shunned. They were mistreated, that sort of thing. There's just a code in there. You don't mess with children. It's in the men's prison.
I don't really care about people that would hurt a child.
Yeah,
frankly.
Yeah, I know.
If you're going to abuse someone, then maybe that's what they should abuse them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So I never really asked them, but I could tell who the good people were and who the ones that would never make it on the outside. I mean, I'd hear women. I had my last, I was in a 6-man right before I got out, and the girl above me would talk about how everything she owned was stolen, and You know, I mean, she just kept that verbiage going, and I thought, as soon as she gets out, that's her way of life. She hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a mixed bag of people. Most of them violent.
If you had to go, I mean, this is a hard question. I'll ask some of the questions that they have. Gammy has one. Did the prisons have a pastor on a regular basis to minister to the inmates?
There wasn't enough of that. There was not enough of that. And it surprised me, because that would be the one place I would think that churches would gravitate to. There were a couple faithful churches that would come in, but maybe once a month, you know.
And did you have like
and the women loved
chaplain
it.
in there?
We had a chaplain. Yeah, pray for her. She's going through some real aggressive cancer right now. So, you know, and she was a good person. But the thing of it is the women were thirsty. They were hungry. When we would, now some of them would, because we would all be together then, and you know, there's a issue when you're in there for a long time. Some of the women, you know, would team up with another woman and that sort of thing. But so they tried to always keep them separated. But some of them would go just to be able to see one another, because they lived across the yard and they didn't get to see each other. Some of them truly, I mean, some of those services, when they would have them, and they were few and far between, would be powerful. These women would just come down and be crying and giving their life to the Lord. And it was beautiful. But there needs to be more prison. There needs to be more of that, in my opinion.
So what would you change right away? What if you were looking at the landscape?
Suboxone. Get them off that drug. Get them off that drug. Improve the ability to rehabilitate, so that when they get out, they have a bank
trade
account.
Schools, things like that.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and make the prisons so that you can do both things. You can rehabilitate and provide programs to the inmates, but also have them participate in it, like what I was talking about with the farm project,
right?
Things like that, where it's self-sustaining, so they're not having to pay money for things that they could do, plus while teaching a skill to someone. You know, teach them how to save, give them enough money, let them earn enough money in a productive wage, where they can give money out, learn to manage their money. They do that in the halfway houses a lot. They have to go get a job. They have to, you know, save a certain amount of money and things like that. There just needs to be more rehabilitation, for sure.
Trade schools, things that actually you could even build. I mean, I thought about this. You could build businesses attached to the prison. You could build say a recycling center,
right?
And where they could, you know, and I hate to say the recycling center, because you know you're sorting plastics and stuff like that, stuff that could generate revenue,
right?
And could, you know, I mean, there's no limits to what you could actually do,
right,
attached to the prison. You could have warehousing. I mean, they used to make plates in California,
right? Well, they do in Canyon City. That's plates. Where the plates are made, in the men's prison.
So I mean, there's so much opportunity for that to happen, where it could create commerce.
But see, you and me as business owners, we understand that.
Right.
But most of these people that go up the ranks, that start out as a CO, then they go up to, you know, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, you know, and so on. They've been taught to only do what the person above them says to do.
Got it.
So to get anything done, that person has to ask, that person has to ask, that person. They're not taught to think for themselves. They're independent thinkers are not welcome in a hierarchy like that. So then you have this person running things that doesn't have the experience that you and I have in business. So they're not creative thinkers to think outside the box. Plus, they don't surround themselves with people that are creative thinkers, because those people under them are meant to just, follow lockstep with what they're told to do and not ever question it. There were so many COs that confided in me about how afraid they were because they couldn't think independently. They had to do what they were told to do.
What haunts you the most? I mean, you spent almost 20
About
months.
prison?
Yeah.
Yeah, just 4 months shy of 2 years. What haunts me the most about prison?
Yeah.
How easy it is to lose your liberty and how precious it is, but how most people have no idea how close we are to everyone losing it. And I keep bringing it right down to the foundational issue, and that is our elections. We wouldn't have had the open borders. We wouldn't have these Congress people being selected. We wouldn't have in Arapahoe County the property taxes being voted on to be raised, which didn't happen, but it was passed. Abortion being made legal. All of it stems from the fraudulent elections. So what haunts me the most is that people are not standing outside of their local city council or their local commissioners saying, get rid of the machines. That's what haunts me the most. And I will continue to fight for that.
You had a conversation with President Trump, and in that conversation, you and I talked about the things that you've seen have progressed and have gotten better, but that after 6 years, we should be in a different place than we are right now.
We do.
Where should we be? I mean, obviously, I'm very disenfranchised with the sacrifices that have been made.
Well, I just found out there's AWEB. I just found out that there is a world election, I think, bureau. People around the world that are overseeing the elections.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a huge thing and it's evil. It's evil beyond evil and we know the enemy, is trying to take over the world for his own devices. But also the way for things to continue is for good people to do nothing. And we were talking about in our some friends today were talking about how we as Americans have been lulled to sleep.
Yeah.
We've been lulled to sleep. They legalized pot, they legalized mushrooms, they legalized abortion. The entertainment industry has drugged people up to the thirst for more entertainment. It's gotten more violent. It's more acceptable. All the programming that's gone on, and people don't even realize that it is actual mental programming to keep you in a drug-like state of, I can't do anything about it. It's too big for me. I can't, I don't vote because it doesn't matter.
It's like a perpetual state of keeping us hungry all the time.
Yeah.
But
doing nothing.
It's rabid hunger to a place where even the scraps gives us the hope to continue. And you have 56 cents on every dollar. You don't own your home. You rent it from the government. You have very little say. Right. I mean, on the judicial conduct that exists. People get caught up in that web in lots of different ways. And you have no ability to reset because everything is now being flushed towards an ideology that is stealing the very soul of our nation.
But we can. And that's the thing that's part of the propaganda is it's already quote, it's already come so far, there's nothing you can do about it.
Free and fair elections would fix it.
And I come boldly against that ideology that it's come too far, that there's nothing you can do about it. I think it's a lie from the pit of hell that we can't do something about this.
Well, we can. I feel like...
Will people do it? No, because they'll get Tina Petered. No, they'll get thrown in prison.
There you go. There you go.
So here's the thing. And this is what I told President Trump. I said, the last 2 months, I've felt very discouraged.
Yeah.
I was just being frank and honest. I said, because we have the proof. We don't need any more proof. we're getting more proof. We're every day something comes out where we're proving that the elections are fraudulent every single day.
Yeah.
And people it's almost like they've become consumers instead of proactive.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of hearing, and I told President Trump, I said, Mr. President, I said, we have the proof. We have the proof 5 years ago. We have the proof. And I said, it makes me feel like what I did was for nothing. I could have just said, you know what? Let somebody else do it. I'm not going to get involved. Okay, no, I was wrong. There wasn't anything there. I didn't see anything like Jenna Griswold wanted me to say.
And then she would have absolved you from everything else.
And nothing would have happened to me. But I said to him, he said, get me the info. So there is hope, but you have to be involved. You have to be involved. And that brings up a whole another thing I can't talk about right now, but
there is things happening, just so everybody's aware. There are things
5
happening.
years. 5 years, and I look and I go, okay, and you were talking earlier about Mike Lindell, the suit being dropped. The thing with Stephanie Lambert and Stephanie Scott, and all the things that are happening.
Well, we have we have a motion that Stephanie Lambert put in play that has all the information related to Eric Coomer.
Yes.
That they've tried to seal away in the Patrick v. Dominion case. That's not just damning.
Yeah.
It proves that he's just a liar, and that he's more intimately involved in the stealing of elections holistically.
Oh yeah.
And not just in the United States, but around the world. So they're trying to seal that. Stephanie just filed that deal. And I was talking to Stephanie this morning, and I was like, Stephanie, she goes, Joe, just relax. And I'm like, I'm relaxed. I'm relaxed to the idea that things are just taking way too long.
We want to see people indicted. Okay,
Yes.
so that brings me to the next point. And this is for those in Colorado, but it's happening in other states, obviously, every state, it seems like, especially the swing states. Jenna Griswold needs to go to prison.
Yeah.
She needs to go to prison yesterday. She needs to,
and Phil Weiser.
Yes, Phil Weiser. My main thrust right now, and what would make me the happiest, when I see the ad that she put out about running for AG.
Yeah.
And what does she say in the ad? She takes credit for sending me to prison. Well, how can a felon who has not yet been indicted, that deleted 29,000 election records, fraudulently violated law with my Secretary of State recount.
Right.
The 488, Peter Berninger just filed a lawsuit against her for the 488 HAVA votes. And on and on and on, the passwords in all the counties. She is undeniably a felon.
Yes.
And she should go to prison. She should be indicted. There's enough information and proof that she has done these things.
Remember when she shook when she was on it, when everything happened and she couldn't keep her, and she was flustered because she knew that what she did was wrong, and she couldn't figure out whether or not they were going to catch her. And then somebody went to her and put their hand on the shoulder and said, "It's okay, we got you."
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's one of the biggest mistakes that they made. The biggest mistake they made was when all this came out in the symposium in August of 2021. They should have just kept quiet about it and let it get under the rug. And it would have been treated just like everything else that people keep exposing.
Right.
But
like
they made a big deal. They made a big deal. They came against someone who doesn't back away from the fire, but who runs into the fire without regard for life, obviously liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
There you go. You get to the cost, right?
And they came up against the wrong person. But back to the remorse thing, because I really want people to know the narrative that keeps coming out about I had an unauthorized person in there is a lie. It's
Yeah.
a bold-faced lie. And we can show anybody that wants to see the law that says that I had every right as the elected official
Yeah.
to have anyone that I wanted in that room at any time, as long as they were accompanied by me or another person, another staff member that was authorized, had a background check. The other thing that they love to say is that I breached or tampered with the election equipment. It's all over CNN. It's all over everywhere that I breached or tampered with election equipment. That's never been one of the charges.
No.
Because if they'd made that one of the charges,
You would
then
have
we could have brought in all the information about the elections. Lies, 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 lies.
They can't help themselves but lie. But then the media just props it up.
Right.
So that leads me to some of the people. You have people like Matt Crane.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. No conflict there.
He's a pariah. His wife worked for
Smartmatic and then Dominion. Yeah, for over two decades.
Sorry, worked for Sequoia. And then
yeah,
Dominion.
You're right.
For 19 years. And so
Yes.
she's and purposely did not share his last name so that she
Lisa Flanagan Crane.
Yeah, but she did not use the Crane until after the 2020 election. It was Lisa Flanagan, right? So you have people that are complicit in the stealing of the voice of the people that have stood up and have gaslit and attacked you. I think the guy deserves to be tried for treason, frankly.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of people that are complicit with this. And, you know, Colorado has been the leader in Dominion being their headquarters, has been the leader in mail-in ballots being passed in 2013. This was kind of the state for the prototype. Yeah, exactly. And so we have to stand up. My biggest concern is that people are going to see, and I could talk about Victor Marks. I could talk about Scott Bottom. I can talk about
Scott's my buddy. I love him.
Yes, Scott. People in Colorado, you need to vote for Scott Bottoms. A man like Victor Marks that would say after listening to Cody Davis in Mesa County,
who's terrible. Who's a terrible human being.
Oh my gosh. I took the commissioners all the proof. And what did they do? Nothing.
They did nothing with it because they went back to Dominion.
They went back
and asked him and said, "Hey, is any of this true?"
Right.
And I was listening to the video. I was actually listening to the interview that Matt Crane had with the investigator. I was listening to it this morning. And in preparation for this, because that investigator said, "Hey, tell me how to debunk.
Yeah.
Tell me how to debunk these reports." And Matt couldn't even do that. He just said, "Oh, well, it's just not true." He just went straight to none of it's true.
Sorry, believe me, because I said so.
Just so you guys know where to go to send some money over to Tina.
Oh, thank you. You know, that's another thing is the fight right now. The fight is not over.
No.
The legal bills have been exorbitant. Now it's in, like I said, the Colorado Supreme Court, and then we're looking at probably if the Colorado Supreme Court doesn't do the right thing, they're going to probably get a slap by the Supreme Court, because
remember, the Colorado Supreme Court is the one that took President Trump off the ballot.
Right.
And the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 to bring him back onto the ballot.
That's right. And that's why I think they're going to have to look long and hard at this, because the same thing's going to happen in this case. We've got too much strength behind this case. Supremacy clause, it should have never been tried in Colorado. This is going to come before SCOTUS if the Colorado Supreme Court doesn't end it here. And you know, and I'm in for the fight, but it takes finances, it takes money, it takes stamina, and I'll keep fighting for the people.
So there's lots of questions around other people that have been in your sphere. I want to put some things to rest. There's only one place where people can donate to you. That's tinapeters.us, correct?
Right. That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's a person out there who has taken I don't know if you want to talk about it, you can tell me no, but has taken liberty.
Yes.
In order to raise money And how do you feel about people that do that? How do you feel about, and you know who I'm talking about?
I do.
The,
I believe that
America's mom. Sorry.
I believe that was one of the most hurtful things when I was in prison, to see how some people without any conscience were benefiting off my pain
and justifying it.
And justifying it. I mean, that particular person you're talking about actually told, we have the video, told the people listening at where she was speaking that don't give to Peter Tickton, don't give to John Case. They don't need the money.
Just give it to us.
Give it to us. And I never saw 1 cent of that person.
Just so we're clear, this is me talking. This is Sharona Bishop that we're referring to. I was on the outside screaming, and I've been accused of a lot of things. Like Joe gets pissed off, and he
Joe is Joe. I love it.
Look, you have to be a warrior. The reason why they're able to get away with what they get away with is because no one's standing up and willing to punch them in the mouth. I'm willing to punch them in the mouth, but in this case, you have people that were stealing. Yeah. This is stealing. And it's still to this day are out talking about Tina as if they're the agent for Tina Peters. Tina is the only agent for Tina Peters, just so we're clear.
There's another one. And I'm not going to say this person's name.
I'll say it. Just tell me what it is.
No.
You start with...
It just seems like there's a lot of Jezebels out there.
There's so many.
So we could have fun with that, but I really, this has already been a very explosive show. So I'm sure Kyle Clark's just waiting for the next comment. And by the way, thank you, Kyle. I really do appreciate Kyle Clark because he actually put out an ad for the Freedom Fest that's going on.
I know, isn't that great?
I know. I looked at it and went, thank you for the advertisement.
Just so everyone's clear, Kyle Antifa Clark has had so much to say, but he just can't tell the truth.
Well, that was another thing. Captain Cordova couldn't wait that night. She put out the video of me after this girl punched me, and I put my arm up like this and deflected the punch and had a huge bruise on my arm for like 3 weeks.
Gave it to Kyle Clark.
And I came out. Yeah, and I came out defending myself, grabbing the wrist of the hand that had punched me, pushing her back, and it made it look like I was the aggressor. And they had I signed no video release. I signed nothing for them to illegally put that out there without my consent. But guess what? The girl that had stabbed her boyfriend, her fiance, 3 times with life-threatening wounds, got out 2 weeks later. She only got 6 years for attempted murder.
So I get Joe's rift with Sharona. I don't have a rift.
With who?
Artie, just so we're clear.
Well,
I don't have a rift with anyone. Right. I got a rift with liars, thieves, and grifters. Right. And I will
don't get him going.
This is the same person who, by the way, called Ivan Raiklan before Ivan Raiklan came on the show and said, he's not one of us. He's not a conservative. Just so you know, go check out what Sharona has given to anyone other than to feed her face to anyone, and look at my record over the last 20 years and the millions of dollars that I've given without anything in return. And the last 6 have been the most painful, by the way. So no, there's no rift. I just don't like liars and thieves.
Yeah. Well, on a different note.
Don't
sugarcoat it. How do you feel, really?
I'm a forgiving person.
I don't let those people get in my head. And in prison, that served me well, because when I would be attacked or I would be persecuted, or the things that was done to me, I didn't ruminate on it. I didn't let it get in my head. Because then people control you. Yeah. If you let the things that people do to you get in your head, and I try to teach the women in there that
people that anger you own you.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. So the women in prison, they would, oh, I hate her and I'm going to get revenge and da da da. Da. And I said, you're letting them have too much. Look at you. You're all upset. You're letting them. I'm preaching to the choir.
Look, I have a righteous anger that I get, but if you ask me 20 minutes later what I was angry about, I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I'm fine because I'm not really angry. I'm just venting.
You're venting.
Right? And I believe that's the truthfulness and authenticity.
Yes.
Create a boundary that allow for you to have peace.
I like that.
Right.
I like that.
And
I do like that. And and that's why there's certain things, especially with this remorse thing. I'll bring that up again. Oh, Polish shouldn't have let her out because she shows no remorse. No, I do show remorse. The remorse is that people that should be in prison are not.
Yeah.
That's my remorse. The remorse for me is that the things that were exposed, nothing's been done about. Would I have done it differently, having known how big this was? Now keep in mind, when I preserved election records, which is actually what it boils down to, when I preserved election records, and all this was legal, making a forensic image, doing all that stuff, and then protecting the identity of the person that had every right to be there because they were there on under my authority. Yes, if I had known it was going to be this big, I remember at the symposium, because I had no idea what we had until it was leaked out without my knowledge, all of a sudden, without the first reports even coming out. And I remember I walked up at the symposium and I'm shocked. It's like, what? This was a big deal on TV. And I grabbed the cyber expert's knee and I looked at him and I said, we do have something, don't we? And he goes, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because here I am in trouble for something big, but I don't even know at that point what it is.
Yeah.
I was just concerned about the 2021 municipal election. And when I told the cyber guys later on, I said, go there. And when Janet Rowland said, well, you haven't proved how any vote was flipped. And I told the cyber guys, and that was in, I think, the third report.
Yeah.
I said, go to the April 6, 2021 election. That's where you'll find it. And that's where they found
the separate database.
That's where they found the separate database. Yeah. That's where they found that had the front loading of the 50-50. That's what, go to the tinapeters.us, read the reports. If you could do anything to help me besides helping me financially get back on my feet and continue the fight, the place where you can help the most is go back to the basics, go back to Mesa County, the reports 1, 2, and 3. Read the executive summary. Look at Mesa County, the first Mesa County report, where all those pages that are in reddish pink or whatever are the files that were deleted, what kind of files they were, access files, who went in and out of the computer, adjudication files, how the votes were determined, who they were being voted for, and access, adjudication, and audit log files. You can't even, and according to federal law, you have to preserve these records in the event of a contest or to prove fraud. And so by federal law, and this is where we get into supremacy clause, all this stuff you can listen to John Case and Peter Tickton talk about. This is why it was so critical that we preserve those records and why they were deleting them all.
Yeah, so
go back to that.
I actually think you should also put up on the website the recordings of Matt Crane.
Send them to me. I'll put them up.
Yeah, it's 3.5 gigabytes of information.
Send them to Apollo. We'll put them up.
Yeah, so I think that those are the things.
People will go look at them.
I think it's imperative that we put out all the information so that people could be like, here's Matt Crane, the traitor.
Right.
This is who he really is.
And look at the county clerks. Yeah. They're in such fear
of him. He's a bully.
They're fear.
He's a bully.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Little gay Urkel bully.
Here's the thing too, is they've got a cushy job.
Yeah.
They have their 401a.
Yeah.
They have their retirement. They have their like Bobby Gross, the one who works for Dominion. If you vote in Mesa County, you guys, if you vote for Bobby Gross, you're part of the problem. She worked for Dominion. We have receipts where her and Sheila Reiner
We're
Dominion
taking side
employees.
money
Dominion
while
employees.
working for this. I mean, it's unbelievable. That's a bribe, just so we're clear.
Even after I became clerk,
Ah,
Sheila Reiner was getting reports for, and one day somebody showed me this. I said, take her off that list where she has access to that. Do not vote for Bobby Gross for clerk and recorder. Get her fat butt out of there. You know, she doesn't deserve to make 92, 96, whatever it is, $1,000 a year. You know, and white trash.
And Abigail was running for county clerk. She's a young girl. She's amazing. Just so you know, Abigail for county clerk of Mesa County. She is an outstanding. Outstanding.
I endorsed
choice.
her. I endorsed
She's
her.
amazing.
I stood up and said, girl, you know, because the people like Cody Davis and Dan Rubenstein, all the people that ignored the truth about what was going on in Mesa County, they're going to vote for Bobby Gross because they want to keep the gig going.
Yeah.
You know, you know, be strong. Don't vote for Victor Marks. I'm sorry, but
he's terrible. Don't be sorry.
I have enough information. You know, and for him to say he wouldn't,
he wouldn't pardon you. Are you kidding me?
Because he listened to Cody Davis instead of listening to the truth. If you're not going to be diligent enough to go and look at the truth, and you're going to believe what someone else says, you're a fool. Which means that when you get in office, if you got into office, you would listen to those same idiots.
You're a marshmallow.
You would listen to those same idiots that are misinformed. And, you got me fired up today, Joe.
You know what I'm so happy about, though? Is that you've paid the cost of freedom for so many other people. They haven't realized it yet. Like, people don't realize the cost to bear that you've borne and that you did for 20 months. It wasn't even the 20 months.
606 days.
It was the years before that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it
was a battle from 2016, 2017 when I start running for office, and how they opposed me, tried to get me recalled. That failed. And all the Secretary of State, all that office was involved in that recall. Sheila Reiner, all those Dominion people.
But it's even. I mean, I'm going to bring up something that I know that I said I wouldn't, but I'm going to. People don't understand that the cost of freedom, the cost of the truth getting out there. They divided your family. They took your husband.
Yeah.
They did everything they could to destroy your reputation.
Mm-hmm.
They took from you what was never theirs to take. And they did it so that they could break you.
Yeah.
And no matter what, you just were, I'm not going to break. Mm-hmm. But that example for other people, I think, is the thing people, if I take anything away, because I'm actually more angry now than I was when you were in jail. Prison, sorry. I keep saying jail. I said prison. And I think my anger, I don't, actually, anger is not the right word for it, because I'm more resolute to what's going on. I think my disappointment is that the cavalry did not run in and take you out of there. And with all the pain that you were able to endure, you deserve that.
Do you know why? It's because we, Joe, abide by laws, and they don't.
Yeah.
The people that were holding me against my will that don't abide by laws. They break the laws, and then they go spend the money and come sue us. We have plenty of money because we're in the government and we have unlimited funds.
Yeah.
So it's going to take every single person. You know, just like the people that are going to the Trump rallies, they need to be in their own localities, because this is something that haunts me, is that it's not the 2020 election. It's not even the 2021 Mesa County municipal election or city election. It is every single thing that goes on the ballot. It is abortion. It is raising taxes. It is legalizing marijuana. It is every single thing on that ballot is up for grabs and up to be perverted. And so they can continue to have control. And if people don't start standing up and getting involved, and we got to get rid of the machines. President Trump needs to sign an executive order
And the
saying,
mail-in ballots.
and
which
the
is
mail-in
which
ballot
is
saying it's unconstitutional
Yeah.
that these things are allowed to be done. There's no security threshold when you have foreign agents that have a proprietary authority, power over the things that are used for our most sacred right, which is to vote who we want to represent us.
Yeah. Tina, thanks for being with me today.
Thank you.
I will mimic what people are saying online, and that is, thank you for the sacrifice that you've made
My duty.
and the sacrifice you continue to make. Because I'm not sure people understand that you're still under parole.
Yeah.
You're still subject to all of their rules and conditions, and it's still a tether.
They'd love to see me violate my parole, and I won't do it. I will abide by the laws that I'm under at this moment.
It is exciting to see you get back in the fight.
I never left the fight.
But no, you did not. But back in the part where you're at the front, you're at the head of the table. And so I want to encourage you. But I also recognize that you deserve to have peace. You deserve to have joy. You deserve to have the things that come with 6 years of fighting. And so that's the thing that I'll pray for you the most. And
Thank you.
If we can, I'd like to pray us out because we're going to end. And then I'm going to let you guys, after I pray for Tina, I'm going to let you guys see a couple of the videos that we have that are basically saying that sharing is caring. And David Clements put out a ton of videos related to his documentary. And so we're going to share a bunch of those. I'm not going to be here for it. I'll tell you the Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. We've got some exciting things that are happening. iHeart got rid of an immense amount of talent across the country. And so has sparked some pretty crazy things that happened over the last couple of days. And for those of you that are watching us on Roku now, pretty exciting stuff that's happening there as well. But there's some great things that are getting ready to come down the pike. And I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be encouraged by what President Trump is doing, because he's fighting against all odds. 90% of the people that he is around him are Judases and Brutuses, and they are doing immense amount of damage and trying to stop him from getting us back the reins as the people. So, but just understand that nothing is greater than God, and with God, everything would fall apart, but with him, everything is possible.
Yeah.
So keep the faith.
Amen to that.
You want to tell people, they already know how to follow you, but I'll give you the last final word.
On X at Realty to Peters. I have a Telegram channel. I have a Truth channel. You can get all those links at my website. Please continue to support the work that we're doing. We're coming out with some really big stuff. I can't tell you exactly what that is yet until I'm released to do so. But please visit sign up for our mailing list on the website. Also, we'll be sending out information there, and just continue to support me. I'm one person, but you're many, and together we can do it all. We can do it all.
Yeah, I agree. Tina needs to write a book. That might be next. You don't know.
Yeah,
it's in the works. It's got to be.
Well, with that kind of support, we can put this out in a book and in a movie. If the support is there and if the people want it. Yes.
I think there's a lot of fatigue because there's a lot of hopelessness. And I think that
they'll get riled up.
Getting the motors going back in the right direction, and recognizing that there are some true leaders in this. I think President Trump is starting to see that. And I also think he's starting to see the grift, so to speak, of influencers that have worked against him while saying that they're for him. Right. All right. Yeah. So if I can
drifting is bad.
Pray, is that all right? Pray us out.
Yeah.
All right. Father God, thank you for Tina. Thank you for using her as a vessel for the American people and for people around the world. Thank you, Father, for giving her the strength. Thank you for giving her the tenacity and the courage to be able to stand against the evil that is been pushed against her. Thank you, Father, for the many people around the country and around the world that have supported Tina. Thank you for the prayers that have come from so many other people. And thank you, Father, for just the light that you've put in all of our lives to be able to have the ability to see this through to the very end. We know, Father, that there's an immense amount of hopelessness. People are just questioning decisions that are made today. They're questioning President Trump. They're questioning the direction that we go. They're questioning going into Iran and all of these things. And we don't pretend to know or have a seat at the table to have all the answers, but we do know, Father, that if we can restore you to our community and to our country, that a lot of things will kind of take care of themselves. We know we live in a world with stolen elections, and we appreciate you pulling back the veil and allowing people to see with their own eyes what is right in front of them. Father, we are at a place where I have to ask. I have to ask boldly that you will literally lay down the hammer, and you will, this is what we hope for. We hope for accountability. We hope for consequences for those people that have done great evil to our country and to people around the world. Father, we just want supernaturally to wake up tomorrow, and for those that have done great harmful things to our people, that they will be held accountable. I ask that, Father, that Tina be made whole. I ask that the people that have done great things over the last 6 years and have sacrificed, that they be made whole. But I ask that you just lift the burdens off of Tina, block any sort of attacks against her, and give her the strength and the courage and the commitment and the stamina to be able to continue this fight. We see Tina as the Nelson Mandela of our time, who paid the price, and now we want justice. We love you, Father, and we are grateful for the opportunity to be born at a time such as this. And I say these things humbly and put this before you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
All right. I love you.
I love you, Chad.
Watch these videos and give David Clements follow. And make sure that if you're in Colorado, you're at the Liberty Fest. It's the Freedom Fest that's happening this weekend. Tina is going to be speaking, I think, on Saturday. On Saturdays.
Friday. Sorry.
Tina will be speaking on Friday.
Tomorrow morning.
Laura Logan will be there.
Yes.
And
Hetfield.
Yeah.
And Mike Davis and the whole lineup.
It's going to be
wonderful
crazy.
people. I'll be in the morning.
Yeah.
So be
awesome.
there.
Be there or be square.
There. I was just thinking that.
Right.
Good.
God bless you all. We'll see you soon.
God bless you. Thank you.
Next up, we have John Fastos, CEO of Domination Systems.
I forgot all about him.
I see that I'm losing you, Chad. Time to call in the boss. And Mr. Fastos. Mr. Fastos, I hate to bother you, but it appears we are losing one of our customers.
Did you tell him that domination systems are, by design, meant to be used as closed systems that are not networked, meaning they are not connected to the internet?
I tried to...
did you show Chad my 60 Minutes interview that makes me look really sympathetic?
People have been put into danger. Their families have been put into danger. Their lives have been upended, and all because of lies.
I haven't had the time, boss. This David and Earl keep countering all our vendor-approved talking points.
It doesn't matter to me. Chad, I will concede that voter fraud occasionally happens from time to time. And kudos to the experts that have demonstrated a few votes being switched in a handful of locations across the country. Don't want to let a few minor examples spoil your perception of our elections. There is no widespread election fraud. There are no computer algorithms, and Domination is one of many vendors. The election process is highly decentralized with checks and balances with transmission of sensitive data being protected by the air gap. The amount of systemic fraud being suggested by Professor Clements runs contrary to the Department of Homeland Security's assertion that the 2020 election
was the most secure in U.S. history.
The Department of Homeland Security are the good guys. They protect us from cyber attacks.
All right, the stage is set for Station 4. No widespread fraud through computer algorithms. The voting system is highly decentralized and protected by the air gap. Professor, the ball is in your court. While Chad is filling out his ballot, we'll head over to the next station. Betty has tagged out, and replacing her is Heinrich Kummer, a domination machine expert who is standing by the Dominator 5000 tabulator.
Chad, there's no remote access capability with the Dominator 5000. That means no modems, no chipsets, no need for networks like Verizon, AT&T, or Sprint. It's impossible to flip votes and make sure that at the end of election night, we perform a little audit called a canvas.
What wireless chipset / modem does the hardware have?
We support a variety.
Verizon, AT&T, or Sprint, assuming all?
Yeah, all networks. Currently in Chicago and Cook County, we work with Verizon to secure that network.
Voting machines are not connected to the internet. This is something that you hear all the time in the U.S. from election officials. Unfortunately, it's not actually true. And many new voting machines come with 4G wireless modems so that they can be connected to the internet from the polling place in order to upload the results faster.
Whoa, that didn't take long. And you look and sound just like the guy on the video we just played.
That guy's name was Eric, E-R-I-C. My name is Heinrich, and that guy is talking about Dominion voting systems. I work for Domination Voting Systems. They sound similar, but are very different. See, take a look at the logos.
Rise up, Untamed. In the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam, Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the nights. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave